Good evening. Far-left activists in the civil service need to be sacked. Civil servants at the Department for Business and Trade have asked to stop work immediately unless we halt arms sales to Israel. Is that any surprise, though, when we have civil servants out campaigning for George Galloway?
Stand for humanity, stand for Palestine, stand for George Galloway.
Civil servants who refuse to work on matters of global and national security should be dismissed. They are also threatening to take the government to court if they are told to ignore ECHR rulings and send people to Rwanda. This is a matter of border security. Both leaving the ECHR and having tighter border controls are issues the British public feel very, very strongly about. So, the activist civil service will be ignoring both the will of the government and the will of the people. The same Home Office staff who've been offered trigger support if they read about slavery, as it could remind them of past traumas and give them flashbacks. There is mandatory training on inclusion and belonging and free helplines, which can be called any time of the day or night, 365 days a year. But is that a shock when the permanent secretary to the Home Office, a man called Sir Matthew Rycroft, he is the civil service race champion as well, despite literally not being able to do his actual job?
How many people travelling on small boats that's been refused asylum have been sent to a third country or back to their own country over the past 3 years?
I don't think we have. I think
we'll write to the committee with those numbers, Mr. Anderson.
So we've seen how civil servants will rebel on international trade, on defence and on our borders. But they'll also do it when it comes to terrorism as well. The latest report into the Counter-Terror Prevent programme exposed Islamist terrorism as the overwhelming threat, and that fear of being called Islamophobic was essentially putting us all at risk. Well, a whistleblower then attended a counter-terrorism course for civil servants that rubbished the report, rubbished the author of it, didn't address immigration as an issue when it comes to the terror threat, and disproportionately spoke about right-wing terrorism. Remember Brexit? A civil servant nearly handed Gibraltar back to the Spanish without a single shot being fired. And Dominic Raab, who was a minister at the time, demanded that they were more productive when it came to our Brexit negotiations. He said there were very activist civil servants effectively trying to block reforms they did not like, related to areas including Brexit, prisoner parole and human rights. He was slammed for his conduct, despite never shouting or swearing at civil servants, leading him to ask, if we can't probe, if we can't scrutinise, how do we deliver for the British people? Civil service staff listed their biggest wish for 2024 as being a change of government. They threatened to go on strike unless they're allowed to work from home all week. Staff at the Information Commissioner's Office don't just have to refer to their colleagues by their preferred pronouns. No, they also have to genuinely believe that they are of the opposite gender as well. They also have to believe that men get the menopause. Staff have been given male and female passes so that they can choose what they identify as on any given day. This is all the woke stuff, of course. You're paying for it. You're paying for courses that all mean the same thing, like this: inclusive leadership, leading inclusive teams, managing inclusion. All separate courses, all doing the same thing, all paid for by you. But the most important fact is that we now have civil servants who appear to be blocking government policy. We have more than 500,000 people working in the civil service. We can probably afford to lose quite a lot of them.